David Dayen says, this is a big no for Dems. Suspending the debt limit is not a win. Democrats should give no votes for this, and I don't think the Republicans get a majority on their own. Here's the new deal that is taking place in the funding bill that was supposed to pass. And then Elon Musk was like, I'm the president. I'm the captain now. How fucking dare you? And almost single-handedly blew up the government showdown. Or not the government showdown. Let's take a look originally at what was supposed to happen and how, it kind of fell apart.
Began on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers are racing to avert a government shutdown after President-elect Trump and Elon Musk opposed a bipartisan deal to keep the government running. Our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce, is tracking the latest for us. Good morning to you, Mary.
Robin, good morning. Well, there is now a lot of uncertainty here. The House was set to vote on a bill to keep the government open, but then Elon Musk got involved, launching a pressure campaign against the bill. And now, with the holidays just around the corner and paychecks for millions of federal workers hanging in the balance, this morning Congress is now scrambling for a plan B. This morning, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson is back at square one after Elon Musk and President-elect Donald Trump torpedoed a bill to keep the government up and running.
There is no new agreement right now.
Overnight, the speaker seen leaving the Capitol after meeting with Vice President-elect J.D. Vance.
I'm not going to say anything else more about it tonight because we're in the middle of these negotiations.
Trump now telling Republicans to get smart and tough without telling them exactly what he wants them to do next, criticizing the bipartisan bill for including too much spending, but also warning Republicans not to pass a stripped-down bill without additional spending unless they also agree to raise the debt limit, saying any Republican that would be so stupid as to do this should and will be primaried. The original agreement would have kept the government open until March, with 100.
I'm going to say this is a master class in how everyone should govern and legislate going forward. Like, I'm being super for real about this. This is something that I have routinely criticized the Democrats on. Trump is doing it. He's showing how it's done. He's not even the fucking president yet. He's already bullying from the bully pulpit that he will take on, forcing the Republicans' hands to take certain initiatives. Now, the fact that he's doing that at the behest of corporations or the wealthy is one thing. But overall, the principle here is that he's wielding power and he's doing it before even becoming president. It's also probably much easier for him to do that because the current president, and you might have forgotten about this, is Joseph Robinette Biden, who, according to Wall Street Journal's incredible reporting, literally is brain dead, like medically brain dead. Aides keeping meetings short, controlling access, top advisors acting as go-betweens, and public interactions becoming more scripted. The administration denied that Biden had declined. This photo showing Biden being old. Just remember, he's still currently the president. And as currently the president, he could at least, come out and make statements about this back and forth battle that's taking place in Congress. But in the absence of any sort of interest in doing that, obviously Trump is going to dominate. Joe Biden does not give a shit at all.
$100 billion in disaster aid and billions more for farmers. But Musk, whom Trump has tapped to lead a new government efficiency effort, launched a
I also do want to remind you guys how much people like myself, people like Michael from Pennsylvania, cover like the boring aspect of governance and cover it with an understanding of how like the legislative body works. Whenever people say, oh, you guys are just simply engaging in like vibes-based analysis, they're just saying that because they rely on their audience not to be in here in moments like this. I have, Mike has, Majority Report has absolutely covered these sorts of the incompetence of this current administration time and time again in moments like this. I guess it's not at the forefront of our commentary. It doesn't get clipped out. So most people who are oblivious to that will oftentimes go, you just want like bold. You just like to say things. It's so surface level. Your analysis is so surface level.
Last-minute pressure campaign against it, blasting the bill as a crime, bloated with wasteful spending. saying anyone who supports it deserves to be voted out in 2 years.
Remember when we instantly recalled that the Republicans fired the parliamentarian in 2001 when he blocked Bush's tax cuts while the Democrats pretended like the parliamentarian controls the Senate? Exactly. Like, I get into the fucking minutia all the time. I get into the minutia of this process all the time. I understand how it works. And for me, as someone who understands how it works, I still expect the Democrats to do a little bit better than fucking not even bare minimum. You know what I mean? My standards for the Democratic Party as a partisan, even when I'm engaging in like some semblance of like partisan analysis, is so low, and yet they still fail to meet that fucking standard.
There will be a lot of hard votes in the next couple of years, and it's not always going to be the case that the outside world, the social media audience, is going to be weighing in.
If the government shuts down, millions of federal workers, including service members, would head into the holidays without paychecks. Some would be asked to work anyway, like longtime Library of Congress cafeteria worker Willie Joe Price.
You got a whole lot of people just going to disappoint their children because they're going to have to do a 360 to think about what they're going to do. Is it worth me buying this for my child, or should I pay my rent?
With peak holiday travel, TSA agents and air traffic controllers would also still have to work without pay. Democratic leaders now blunt.
House Republicans will now own any harm that is visited upon the American people that results from a government shutdown or worse.
So what comes next year? Well, that's the big question, and it's really unclear. The speaker could try to strip out all of that addition.
By the way, some Freedom Caucus Republicans are saying they're a no on the new Trump-Musk bill. Oh, I love those guys, man. I fucking love... Dude, I want to hug and kiss all the Freedom Caucus guys. They have literally averted a devastating border control bill. They literally did this. They did this under Obama. They did this under Obama when Obama was like trying to, when Obama was working with the Republicans on a bipartisan initiative to cut Social Security, and the fucking Freedom Caucus, the Tea Party caucus said, nah, we're not doing that. It doesn't go hard enough. I love those guys, man. I fucking love those guys. They've saved this country more times than you think, okay? They are the reason why the border bill didn't pass. Those guys have your best interest in mind sometimes. I don't know how the fuck they do that. Their Freedom Caucus is not progressive. They are the least. They are, pound for pound, the most anti-progressive caucus in the country. They are basically a collection of rabid, oftentimes white nationalist, Koch brothers funded, anarcho-capitalist freaks. But because they are so good at obstructing, they obstruct everything on principle. They're like that guy, what's the name of the dude from Parks and Recreation? They literally are that guy, the libertarian guy that works in government just so he can undermine it from within. Ron Swanson, yeah. No, literally. They are the Ron Swanson caucus. Like, their entire goal is to just be in government so they can fuck it up. It's fantastic. They're insane. And their insanity and their pure obstructionist attitude for the sake of obstructing, they're like the opposite of the Democrats in every way. Democrats do bipartisanship purely for the sake of bipartisanship. They'll be bipartisan on a shit-ass bill that, like, I don't know, is the orphan crushing machine. Okay? Well, look at that. We did it bipartisan, in a bipartisan manner. Aren't we great? The Tea Party caucus, on the other hand, the Freedom Caucus, on the other hand, quite literally is the opposite of that, where they're like, nah, we're going to obstruct regardless because you're not crushing orphans enough. Like, literally, they will just openly come out and be like, oh, the orphan crushing machine on principle, we're on board with it. But, like, it's nowhere near crushing enough orphans. So we're gonna be a no on this one. We're passing.
Funding and spending and just pass a bill to keep the government up and running. But the fate of that is also in doubt, and the clock is ticking with that deadline looming tomorrow night, Robin.
But Mary, as you said in your report, if they try to pass that stripped down bill, President-elect Trump says he wants it to include raising the debt limit.
Yeah, Robin.
Donald Trump wants to raise the debt limit. He's also tweeted about how he wants to that he wants to get rid of the debt limit altogether, which I'm on board with. But raising the debt limit in this situation is not actually going to be helpful for Donald. I mean, it's not going to be helpful for the Democrats at all, because as it stands, abolishing it in its entirety, good. But as it stands right now, Democrats can use the razor thin majority that the Republicans have to their advantage whenever there is a debt limit panic. And Donald Trump knows that, which is why he wants to, which is why they're putting together a package to extend the government funding for 3 months and to suspend the debt limit until January 2027, which means that every other battle that takes place from here on out until January 2027, the Democrats will have no power whatsoever. There will be no fucking contention whatsoever. There will be no, it's after the midterms. From this point on until after the midterms, the Democrats will be giving a ginormous gift to the Republicans if they were to say yes to that. Here's Jake Sherman. House Republicans are eyeing a package to extend government funding for 3 months. Suspend the debt limit until January 2027. Also, $110 billion in disaster aid. Health extenders with no PBM reform, no E15 changes, PAYGO scorecard wiped to zero, extension of farm bill. David Dayen says this is a big no for Dems. Suspending the debt limit is not a win. Democrats should give no votes for this, and I don't think the Republicans get a majority on their own. Also, LOL, did they brick PBM reform while keeping health extenders? That's United Health in action. Also, it's not just Chip Roy and some hostage-taking hardliners who will balk at this on the Republican side. That PBM deal was months in the making, and reformers like Buddy Carter and Diana Harshbarger aren't going to like this. PBM is pharmacy benefit managers, for those of you who don't know. House Republicans are looking to abandon the effort to include reforms to pharmacy benefit managers in an end-of-the-year bill to fund the federal government. To NBC News, Donald Trump has given a phone interview where he said he doesn't just want to lift the debt ceiling, he's keen to get rid of it. The Democrats have said they want to get rid of it. If they want to get rid of it, I would lead the charge, he says. He sees it as a fake thing, no real value regarding debt control. Now, the reason why he wants to get rid of it is because he doesn't want his agenda to be undermined by, any kind of obstruction that happens on his party side that the Democrats could take advantage of. I do agree with this, but as it stands for the time being, I don't think that there should be any sort of hike on the debt ceiling, because all you're doing in that situation is offering Trump more power. There's no, get rid of it. Get rid of it after the midterms.
Donald Trump is really now upping the ante, insisting that any bill to fund the government also raises the debt limit. That, of course, is the cap on how much the U.S. can borrow to pay its bills. So just at the same time that Elon Musk and Donald Trump are railing against this bill for spending too much, the president-elect is also now demanding to be able to borrow more. He knows the political reality that it is going to be difficult to raise the debt limit once Republicans take control of Congress next year. He's hoping to get this done under Joe Biden's watch.
Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.